Senami Uncle, and this is the Single and Lovely channel. You're welcome, and honestly, I am super glad that I am here today. This is our first video, even though we've previously been, operating on podcasts, but this is our first ever YouTube video. So yay! I can hear the drums. Okay, so let's get right into it. Yes, for those who don't know, since we're starting on YouTube now, I am Senami Uncle, and I am the host, or we will say the convener, of the Single and Lovely channel here on YouTube. And I just want to say that it's going to be a wonderful and an amazing journey. So just stick with me. Let's go on this journey together. Okay, so for this first video, which is going to be quite brief, I am just going to be sharing a few things which are we're going to get to know who I am, who Senami Uncle is. We are going to talk about what single and lovely means, because some people really don't know, and whenever I mention that, they're always like, oh, but what if I'm not single? And I was like, no, it is not just for singles. I am not just saying singles should listen in. It's not for singles. Do not mind the term in the topic, or rather in the title, single and lovely, which is what I'm going to be explaining broadly here in this channel. And as you go on with me in this journey, you are going to fully understand the vision and what single and lovely means and how it applies to you. And we're also going to be talking about how I came to know God. Yes, how I got into this journey of being godly. And we're also going to talk about my godly journey. Said I came to know God. And we're going to talk about my experience in romantic relationships. Okay. Okay, yes, those are the juicy details that we're going to be discussing in this first video. So who am I? Who is Senami Uncle? I usually get stuck when I get asked this question, and it's funny how I am the one asking the question right now. Okay, so I am Senami Uncle, and I mostly identify as as an environmentalist, because I am a nature lover. I love nature. I love everything natural. I love photography, nature photography. Um, yes, I love, that is literally why I call myself the Green Life convener on Instagram. There'll be more about that later on, but okay. Yeah, I identify as an environmentalist, and I am passionate about the SDG goals, but let's just leave that. That's serious stuff. Okay, so yes, what else about me? Okay, what do I love doing? I love reading. I love cooking. I love learning new things. I love speaking to new people about topics that I'm passionate about, whether it's on relationships, whether it's on God, even when it's on research studies. Yes, I am a researcher. I'm sure you already got that, but okay, let's move on. Yes, I am a researcher, and so I tend to study on quite a diverse number of topics, several topics. I love history, I love mythology, I love several things. I love discussing these things as well, and meeting people with like minds who are able to argue some things out with me, or talk some things out through with me. And I just love hearing different perspectives on the subject. Okay, yes, what is the Single and Lovely channel about? Yes, the Single and Lovely channel is uh it is a vision, right? It is a vision focused on singleness. And when I say singleness, I do not mean being alone. I do not mean, oh, don't be in romantic relationships. No, it's actually the opposite. But what we're talking about is singleness, which also means wholeness, right? That is another term for singleness. And that's what single and lovely is. It means being complete in yourself, knowing who you are truly, understanding who you are, being self aware, knowing your true identity in God, and you know sharing that identity with others, because the truth is that until you truly know yourself, until you truly understand who you are, until you are on that journey of growth, you cannot really share yourself with other people who you might want to do that with. And in a romantic relationship, it is really dangerous and quite dreadful when people who are half, when I say half, I mean people who have not really studied on themselves, or who are not on that journey of improving or doing away with bad characters, and then they go into a relationship with someone else who is also not on the path of growing. So that kind of partnership would be disastrous, really, because they both are not intentional about their growth, and they are just seeking something from the other person. Such as an example, when a woman comes into a relationship and she believes that the man is going to make her happy all the days of her life, and which is totally not possible. But okay, let's move on. And the man is coming in, believing that she is always going to make him satisfied, right? And so they both come in with that kind of mindset and expectations, and when it's not met, they both become angry, and then they grow distant away from each other because those expectations are not met. So, but if they were truly single people, that is, if they were truly complete, and it's not like you can truly know yourself. We are constantly changing, we are constantly learning about ourselves, but you have to know yourself. You have to at least have an understanding of yourself, of your identity, of where you are going, of what you want to do in life, so that when you come together with someone, you're not just guessing, right? You already know what you want to do, and it even uh it helps to identify the kind of person you should even be with in the first place. That person is compatible with you, with your mindset, with your values, and all of those things. And so that's why singleness is important. So singleness does not necessarily say that you shouldn't be in a romantic relationship. No, if you choose to, that's fine. But singleness, in fact, helps you to be in a romantic relationship and to still be happy, whether your partner is doing things to make you happy or not. Because the truth is, we cannot really find happiness in another person. We can only find happiness from our manufacturer, who is our creator, God. He's the only one who can truly give us, happiness. And you can only find that if you're on that journey of growth, if you and your partner are truly on a journey of growth, and when both of you are on that path and you find happiness through joy in God, you can both come together and share the happiness, which makes you have happiness each other. I hope you understand this right now, but this is just a preview of what singleness means, or what single and lovely is. And the lovely part, I just explained the single part of it. The lovely part of the single and lovely title just literally means godly. So God is love, and so that is the paraphrase of lovely. So we are in single and lovely, we are trying to merge singleness, understanding yourself, being self-aware, completeness, and being godly. When you merge those two together, in fact, you're amazing. You literally can do amazing things, right? Okay, so let's move on. uh the next thing we're going to be talking about is my godly journey, how I came to know God, and how it's been so far. Hmm. It's been amazing, amazing so far. I can Okay, I'm sure you all can see. But okay, yes. I got to know God at a really young age. Now, I'm not saying, okay, yes, I did grow up in a Christian home, but like I always tell people, just because you grew up in a Christian home does not mean that you're a Christian. And it doesn't mean that you're spiritual, it doesn't mean that you know God, which is very important. You growing up in a Christian home is just a good foundation, but you have to, grow into that um, person who knows God, who has a true relationship with Him. And so, me growing up in a Christian home did not mean that I was a Christian, did not mean that I was born again, did not mean that I knew God. And so, I had to go on that path of knowing Him by myself. And so, I can say that by the time I got to know God truly, by the time I accepted Christ into my life, which was at the age of 13 rather, I was quite deep in some things that we shouldn't really mention right now. I was quite deep in rebellion. Let's just leave it at that. And it's quite amazing, really, because the day I gave my life to Christ wasn't that I planned it or I had been thinking about God before then. I had always known God, but I it wasn't like I had been thinking, okay, I'm going to give my life to Christ and all of that, right? At the age of 13, many of my friends were living their lives. They were partying, they were doing so many amazing things in secondary school at that moment. And I remember that I had always been very reserved, a person who was always observing my classmates and everything around me. I had a very keen mind, I still do. And so I think, yes, I've been thinking about God quite a lot when I was little, about between the ages of 5 to about 9 or 11. And so at the age of 13, I remember just being in church that day and the pastor was preaching, and it all seemed to make sense to me in a way. It's not something I can really explain, though I'll try to do that in the course of this journey and on the channel. It just felt like a light flooded into me, and everything seemed to make sense, and everything seemed to be forgiven. Not seem to be, they were. And I truly left the church that day after the altar call a changed person. And even when I went back to school, everyone noticed the change, even though I had previously been someone who was always quiet in class and no one really knew what I was thinking or something. But they all saw the change in me and they all were very vocal about it. And I was very vocal about saying, it's Jesus Christ, yo. Okay, so yes, and since that time that I gave my life to Christ, I can say that my journey with God has been one of it's not been roses, but at the same time it's been roses, because there has been challenges, but at the same time God has been there every single time, even when I thought He wasn't, even when I pushed Him away, because yes, we do that sometimes which is not cool, but yeah. um he always seems to reach out. He always, wants to embrace me, always wants to bring me in closer, doesn't want to let me off again to a dark place where he would not be able to reach me, which would be caused by me anyway. And so I can say that in all of these challenges and all of uh, my reminiscing of the journey, I can say that it's been amazing, like I said, and it's been one of challenges, and it's been one that I have truly come to know who God is. I have truly come to know His character, and I am still learning His character. And the more I know, the more I want to know, which is beyond beyond amazing, because honestly, just knowing Him fills me with peace and light and everything that anyone could ever want. Happiness, true joy, even in the midst of chaos, honestly. I've still got joy in chaos. You know that song. Okay, so yes, that's been my godly journey, and I'm going to be sharing more of that in the course of this journey and in and on the channel. Thank you. Yes, and the last thing we're going to be talking about is drum rolls, please. Okay, we're going to be talking about my experience with romantic relationships. Okay, why do I suddenly feel shy? Okay, yeah. Okay, I would just like to share that I have been in two relationships in my lifetime. Why did that make me sound so old? I'm actually quite young. I'm sure you can tell. But okay, yes, I have been into relationships in my lifetime, and those were very intentional for me because I am not someone who tends to have fun. I don't know what fun is in terms of being in a relationship. I believe that being in a relationship in the first place is about purpose, and you should know the purpose for why you're getting into a relationship. It should not be for like a rebound to mend your broken heart or just to have someone to say I love you to. You're gonna get tired, right? And so, my first relationship, I was still in uni at the moment. Oh, sorry, rather at the time, I was in undergrad school, and yeah, we met in quite a funny way. I'll be sharing more of that later. And we got into a relationship about a year or two after we met because I wasn't giving him the time of day. Actually, I wasn't interested in a relationship. I was trying to, heal from a broken heart. And so I did not want to bring that into a relationship with him to, you know, kind of mess it up because why bring that baggage on him in the relationship. So I decided not to until I healed truly. And so yeah, we had a lovely relationship all through undergrad school, and I had to break up with him because uh, towards the end of the relationship, it was beginning to affect my relationship with God. And it seemed quite silly to tell people that when we broke up, and so I did not tell them at the time, and I would just say nothing was wrong. It's just we just decided to let go of each other. But the truth is that it was beginning to affect my relationship with God. I felt like I had lost my first love. I was no longer um, in love with God like I was when I first gave my life to Christ. And I wanted that back. I don't know if you all have felt that, but after a while being in a relationship, you kind of feel like, especially for women, your whole focus, or at least most of your focus, is on the person that you're with. Not like that is such a bad thing, but it is a bad thing when you are not loving on God as much as you used to. And that was one thing that I could not deal with. I can let go of everything, but not God. Not no, not God. I can let go of everything, but not Him. No matter how much I love the person, no matter how much I feel like I would faint or die, which is not gonna happen. And so, yeah, I had to let go of him, and it was painful, but yeah, I had to, even though it hurts me as well. Yeah, and so my second relationship, I had, healed from that, stayed away from a relationship for about, I think 3 years. Yes, I had stayed away from a relationship for about 2 to 3 years. So I had, gotten to know God more. I had fallen in love with Him again. I had learned more about His character. I had learned more about myself with Him, and I got into a relationship with someone again. And okay, this person was actually my first love. Ding ding ding. And let's just say I loved him, loved him, loved him, loved him so much. And I really, really tried to to not let my relationship with God fall apart or fall away, because I'm in a relationship with someone that I love, who He brought to me in the first place anyway. And so, yes, I did, you know, keep up that, relationship with God, and, kept on studying my Bible and all of those things. But I later realized that I was compromising in a way, um, because I felt like God brought him to me, made me feel like there were some things that could happen or that I could do, which was wrong, by the way, because rebellion is rebellion, no matter what, whether God brought the person or He didn't, right? Rebellion is rebellion, and wrong is wrong. Nothing makes that right. And so I realized that I was compromising, and definitely that would affect my relationship with God. And so, yeah, I can just say that um, God had to break that relationship. And you might be like, oh, why would you say God broke that relationship? Are you blaming God? No. In fact, I thank God for doing that. No matter how much I loved the person, it was quite detrimental, because when you start, yes, relationships, in relationships, you should compromise some things, but not things that are detrimental to your spiritual health and to your physical health, or to your health in general. It should be things that, both of you are compromising on some things, sacrificing, that's the word, sacrificing on some things, not just compromising on your spiritual health or physical health. And so that is why I'm thankful to God for, breaking that relationship apart at that time, because it really was timely. And even though it was painful, and uh, yeah, it was quite painful, but over time I've come to understand why that happened. And yes, like I said before, I am thankful that God broke up that relationship. And the funny thing is, I knew it was going to do that, because I already knew that I was, stepping away from what I was supposed to be doing. And yeah, I wasn't even doing what I was supposed to be doing. Okay, I will get into that more later. So, that is a brief. Oh god, this has been a long get to know about me video, but I guess I'm just really excited to start this. I've been quite camera shy for a while, and yeah, I'm here and we are doing this, and I'm excited I'm doing this with you all. And if you liked this video, please like, yes, physically like it on YouTube. Comment what you liked, or what what related with you, or what resonated with you, or questions that you might have for me. Yes, and subscribe to the channel, Single and Lovely channel. Thank you all so much. See you in the next video.